Welcome back to part 2. In this video, we're going to take a set of traces and use them to create an actual evaluation, a test of whether or not the agent was behaving well or not in the actual run. And let's dive straight into that. We're going to be using our second file here. It has all of the same boilerplate that the previous file had, and it has the same registration. It also has this exact same crew that we had before. So you can see the researcher, the writer, the tasks, the crew. What's different is that this time we are going to create extra data by running a whole bunch of test queries. So you can see a list of 10 or so companies and different focus areas that they have been told to focus on. So comparative financial analysis, financial health and viability, dividend yield and stability, that kind of stuff, including one with multiple tickers and big tech comparison and market outlook. We then run all of those, and then using that data, we're going to run an evaluation. To do that, we need to create an LLM as a judge. You learned all about these. So an LLM as a judge starts with a prompt that tells the LLM what it's judging and how to judge it. So this is our basic prompt. We've got two special variables in this prompt that the Phoenix software is going to insert for us. One is what the user requested, and one is what the user got back out. And then here are the rubrics that Phoenix is going to use, the LLM as a judge is going to use to decide whether or not the report was complete. So we've asked for ticker coverage, we've asked for whether or not it really focused on the things that it was asked to focus on, we've asked for financial data requirements, we've asked that it be in-depth, and that there's be a comparison if multiple tickers were specified. We've also given it some counterexamples with if stuff is specifically missing or failed, then it should consider the report incomplete. Now that we've come up with this prompt, we have to turn it into an actual evaluator. So we're going to get the Phoenix client and download our spans. So this is the same name as the project that we logged everything to in the first place, the Crew AI Tracing Quick Start. And that is the data that our evaluation is going to run against. We also need an LLM to be the LLM as a judge. So we're going to use GPT-4o. And we're going to create a completeness evaluator. We're giving our metric that this evaluator, that this LLM as a judge will generate. We're going to call it completeness. We could have called it anything, but completeness is what we've decided that it will be. This is the prompt that we just created up there. We're going to use the LLM that we just instantiated, and we're going to give it two choices. It can either decide that the report is complete with a 1.0 score or incomplete with a 0 score. With that in place, we can now evaluate our data frame. So we give it the spans that we just retrieved. We give it the completeness evaluator that we just created. Once we've done that, we have to do one extra step, which is to send it back to Phoenix so that we can look at it. So we get the two annotation data frame, we take our data frame, and we send it back to Phoenix. Let's see what that looks like in Phoenix. This is where the completeness scores come from that you saw in our earlier video. You can see here is the original time that we ran it in our first file and the additional 11 times that we ran it outside of that in our evaluation. And here are the results of the evaluation. You can see the annotations contains any kind of annotations that we sent back. In this case, we only sent back one, and it was completeness. And you can see that some of our traces get a 0.0 score. We can click into our trace and see the annotations. You can see who did the annotation, what label it gave them, what score it gave them. But most interestingly, you can get an explanation. An LLM doesn't just give a 1 or 0 score, it gives an in-depth explanation of what exactly went wrong. So relative to ticker coverage, it said that that was okay, focus area was addressed, but it said that on the comparison requirement, the analysis includes comparisons in revenue, profit margins, and key metrics. While there is comparison, it lacks an explicit statement on which company performs better. So it said that it failed on a couple of points, and therefore it gave it a failing score. A successful resolution, on the other hand, has a different explanation. The report covers the single ticket mentioned and addresses the two specific focus areas, latest developments, etc. It says that this was fine. And that's all there is to it. We now have an overall look at our app's performance. You can see that the completeness scored correctly 50% of the time and incomplete 50% of the time. So this app has room to grow. In the next video, we are going to run experiments and see how we can actually improve that performance.